Okay, so this is my review of the Elf bar. First of all, I had to take this apart with vice grips because it was that hard. Unlike all my hides. My hide just dropped on the ground and they showed me I could easily take them apart and modify them. This was, actually once I ripped off that bottom, everything came out really neatly. No wires were broke. Stronger wires than the hide, because with the hide I'd be worried that the wires would come off just by simply tugging on any part of it to get the rest of it out. But I could tell it was empty because at least I thought it was empty because there's no flavor coming from it anymore. And this is pretty bone dry here. Yeah. But interesting thing about this, there's very little leakage. None of it came to the outside. There was a little bit of leakage that appeared on the circuitry. Just barely. I mean, that's a few drips. Most of these other things got a lot of stuff going on. No leakage in the other parts. And I'm not sure. I'm assuming that's like a mildew that develops after these things are like a couple months old. So I didn't get a burnt flavor from it, but I didn't get nothing from it anymore. It would still charge and light up the light when it was charging. And or I don't know, did this one have a light? Anyways, I was just trying to figure out why there's nothing coming from it, because I'm used to these things, like you can just keep using them and it's going to burn this up, and then it's gone because you're inhaling like burnt toxic chemicals and stuff. You're inhaling the wick that's burning. But this thing seemed to shut down. I'm going to assume that it's not like the battery died, right? Because the way it did keep seeming to accept the charge, it wouldn't do anything anymore. And then pulling out the actual wick here, after it's been used, the wick is slightly burned, but this area in here isn't that, there's not really no burn going on. I've watched the hides when I ripped them apart have burn all throughout here where that coil would be. But this thing, I've tried to burn through that a lot of times after the flavor ran out, after the juice ran out, and really all we got is a little bit of burn going on in there. Not even enough for me to taste it. I was trying to figure out what's going on because I couldn't taste the burn, and I'm not used to that. But this seems like pretty good. This is Cuban cigar, which really just tastes like every other tobacco flavor I've had in a vape pen. The seals are really good and tight on these as well, obviously, because we've got that small amount of leakage going on there. And nothing ever came out of any of that. So I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe the circuitry is advanced enough to know that there is no more juice in there to burn, and so it shuts it down and stuff, because it felt like it wasn't doing anything anymore. But it is well built as this is. I'm assuming that there's something here in the circuitry that tells it to not work when it's time to not work. And this is metal right here. The casing is metal. Obviously that's good quality. I'd buy more at the price of $30 versus getting like 3 hides for $30. I don't know, bro. I did like this flavor, but it's just the traditional tobacco flavor that they replace vapes with. Nice, it didn't leak and all that. I mean, technically, you know, if I had a whole bunch of tools on me, I could test the battery and make sure the battery wasn't the culprit. But I'm assuming that what happened is this thing is smart enough to understand that it was dead. And it fully used up all the juice. Like, there is no juice. Like, that's another thing in the other vapes here. A lot of times you'll still see, like, some juice down here. Like, look, I'm getting a little bit of something here. Puff, puff. I'm getting a little bit of something there on my fingertips, but in reality, like, this is a dried out wick, dried out through and through, where if I pull apart these other wicks, these other devices, the wick's still going to have some juice down here, up there, over to the side maybe, over to the other side maybe, but this is pretty good. As far as quality, you know, if a few extra bucks ain't the issue, and double the price ain't an issue for you, then these are definitely a solid build.